This is the Transformers Generations War for Cybertron Trilogy Siege Deluxe Class Ironhide. The figure is part of the second wave of the Deluxe Class figures for the Siege toy line, and I picked up this figure at R Toys. And here is Ironhide out of packaging together with a God of Thunder! Endgame! So excited to see it. The figure looks absolutely amazing. The hype is so real with this one. And this is probably the closest thing we're ever going to get to a G1 Ironhide in the Generations Classics line. And though he is Cybertronian, he evokes all that G1 goodness about him. I'm really loving this figure. It just feels a little bit light. Again, I'm not complaining too much about it. I just thought he would be much heavier. There's a difference in experience between Prowl and this one, because Prowl I felt was a little bit heavier than what he looks like. And speaking of Prowl, they feel, you know, it almost feels like exactly the same weight. He could even be heavier, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, I could get a scale and all that, but it feels like they're the same. And it's probably just an illusion, because there's a lot of hollow parts and all that, but that's my only comment. The plastic does not seem to look cheap. It feels okay. I love the red color that they chose for this one, gray and red combination, giving him that old G1 look to him, and yet retaining that Cybertronian motif. They didn't put a lot of battle damage on him. They've put all the damage on the feet. The worn out silver paint apps are on the feet. It's not really nicely done. I'm not too fond of this. On the feet it looks okay, but here on the ankles it feels like it's just bad paint and not so much like it's been weathered or and whatnot. I'm glad they kept that whole windshield clean, not like Soundwave. You get more silver paint here. Everything else looks to be very squeaky clean, and you get a lot of details. Autobot symbol, gray painted face sculpt. Hardly anything to complain about, although I did have a little bit of a difficult time deciding which Ironhide to get when I was at the hobby shop, and primarily it's got to do with the silver paint. And I wanted a very perfect paint on the legs. Some of the paint had scratches, some are very small smear smudging here and there, but very small, very little. It's actually the paint, the face paint apps that actually took a while for me to decide which figure to get. This was the most perfect one. Looking at the face sculpt, this is the one I picked, was very metallic, and I've seen some that were a little bit bordering on a matte silver finish. I mean, it's not completely matte and not shiny, but there was a lack of luster in some of the head sculpts that I've seen, and it was 8 out of 10. I've seen them lackluster, and then 2 out of 10 were these shiny variants. And I'm not sure if it's just a quality issue or if it's really a production issue. There was one production that used a different set of paint and whatnot. So it took a while for me to decide based only on the paint apps. And I don't know if this is going to help you in terms if you whether you buy online or in the stores, but there was a solid case of all Ironhides. Apparently it's a retailer exclusive. Most of them had that matte finish, that not so shiny face paint app, and it's the regular case that had 2 of each of the figures that had the really shiny metallic silver paint on it. So I don't know if that's going to help you guys or not, but that's what seemed to look in that store. But other than that, everything looks to be very neat and tidy. I'm really loving this figure. Articulation of the figure. His head is on a swivel, I think, because I can't make it go up and down without moving this hinge. So he is in like a perpetual like gaze up, an upward gaze. So not sure if that was intentional or not, but if at all, you'll have to do this just to make him look straight, which is not bad, not a problem entirely. Okay, ball hinge shoulders, they go in and out, forward and backward, bicep swivel, hinge elbow, they go up to there, swivel wrists, waist swivel, very tight, ball hinge hips, thigh swivel, a little bit loose on mine. Hinge knees, go all the way up there. Ankle pivot, That's it. That's it for articulation. And here he is with Hinge Ironhide and Hinge Ratchet. And yep, it's time for an update for your classics Hinge Ironhide, and I think Hasbro and Takara Tomy did a wonderful job with this new Siege Ironhide. The height is much better, the head sculpt is much better, the color I believe is much better. Yeah, even the solidness of the figure, I think, yeah, the Siege I really did a good job on it. Now, don't get me wrong, I love these figures. I love the Hinge versions of the Ironhide and Ratchet, but I think the Siege version's just far superior to these other fellas. But not to take anything away from these guys, these were awesome back in the day. So let's transform Ironhide. First thing you want to do is you want to lift this up like that. Fold these out at the back. Okay. Go ahead and straighten the arms like that. Fold them, swivel them back. Swivel them out like that. Make sure everything's parallel or perpendicular. Okay, fold the chest cavity down. Twist the head here. The instructions just say to fold it down like that. It's not gonna close. Not, at least not on mine. Fold it this way, that way, and there you go. Okay. Fold these arms like this, tab them together, and fold like that. Okay, now just fold these out first. It's easier that way. Join them together. Okay, swivel, swivel. Okay, that, then tab these panels onto the arms like that. Again, those really small tabs, I fear they're going to break over time. And then tab these together like that and like that. And then the bumper, hold it up like that. And there you go. There is the Cybertronian Nissan Vanette mode of Ironhide. It's not a Nissan Vanette, but it's close enough. I mean, I'm liking it. It's Cybertronian, but it could pass as a very futuristic alt mode, like what you see in the movies, like Minority Report or Aeon Flux or Ghost in the Shell. I mean, it could work. So here he is with skids. Yeah. Skids a little big. Okay. But I'm happy with it. Pretty cool. The gun, you can mount it in either peg here, here, or here. I think here is best. So, final thoughts on the figure. Need I say it? It is the best Generations Classics Ironhide figure we've gotten in a long time. And it's a deluxe class figure. It's a deluxe class figure that is little bit bigger than its deluxe counterparts, making it somewhere in between a Voyager and a deluxe. So I'm actually very, very happy with it. I mean, without going to the Masterpiece line, this is one way of getting your G1 or G1-esque Autobots or Transformers. The Siege line does that, and I'd like to thank Hasbro and Takara Tomy for really listening to the fans and giving us a line that a lot of collectors have actually been wanting since the classics came out. So very, very nice. The figure's going to get a 10 out of 10 for me. Best of luck to everybody hunting him down. This has been the Transformers Generations War for Cybertron Trilogy Siege Deluxe Class Ironhide. Thanks for watching.